everybody, welcome to Cake Burger Presents Too Old for Comics. That's a good intro, right?
The Spider-Man edition.
Spider-Man edition. That's our number one topic of interest right now. We just did a video on Zeb Wells' run so far. And here we go. We're back into it. Zeb Wells' run, issue 601.
Mm-hmm.
Legacy number.
Yeah.
No, so 901.
Oh, 901, yeah.
So see, that's what Marvel, knock it off with the renumbering. You're confusing me. I'm like, I'm getting older. My brain's like turning to mush, and I just can't I can't handle all these numbers. You know what I mean?
And I'm rocking my Scarlet Spider sweatshirt again.
I get Spider-Man's number one amigo.
Mm-hmm. Depending on who writes the book.
It depends on who writes the book, yeah, of course. But let's mic this up the chit chatter right now. Let's get right into it. Last week we reviewed Spider-Man milestone number 900 by Zeb Wells and art by Ed McGuinness. With a backup story. I think two backup stories.
One was Todd Knock, the guy I embarrassed myself in front of, and not Boston Comic Con,
Terrificon,
my bachelor party.
So there was another backup story with I refuse to read because I absolutely hate Jimmy Kimmel with a white hot flame.
Really? We'll get into that. I don't mind Jimmy Kimmel. Well, that's another story for another day.
I'm not going to get into it. It's not that kind of podcast, guys. So anyway, we're getting into it now. Issue 901. We get this John Romita Jr. cover with Norman Osborn holding this Spider-Man mask. More like a Spider-Man helmet than a mask. Yeah. This one seems like a little heft to it. It's pretty solid.
Basically an Iron Man helmet with Spider-Man design on it. Pretty
much. But this is something we saw a long time ago in the teasers, the solicits back in the day, which before this run even started, which I don't know. It seemed like Marvel was intent on getting everybody really nice and mad about this run.
Should we also get into what the panel at the latest Comic-Con in New York, whatever it was, about how they basically CB Celestia, whatever his name is.
I've only read a tidbit about this. Before we get into the comic, we'll talk about that. I don't really know. Mike, I know he said something about Spider-Man, but I'll let Mike.
Basically, the gist of it was fans are asking, when is Peter Parker and Mary Jane getting married again?
Never.
Basically that's what he said. They said, we don't care what you want, we only care what we want.
Doesn't sound very...
You gotta read between the lines what I heard.
Doesn't sound very Sobelsky.
And basically the fans were saying, isn't the ultimate act of responsibility is having a family or having a kid and whatnot, and
sure,
and he's like, no, we have plans for Peter Parker. I mean, as you saw last episode, that hopefully it involves the Black Cat. We'll get into this too. Mary Jane is finally in this book. They kind of acknowledge each other in this book, but I stand firm on, if you guys like to get Mary Jane and Peter Parker married, why is she in the book? I don't care about her anymore.
That's the thing. I mean, I do understand why Mary Jane's in the book, and we can get into it when we read the issue. I appreciate Mary Jane as a character. She has a lot of history with Spider-Man and Peter Parker, and just the Spider-Man mythos in general. I think there's a lot of writers, including Zeb Wells, I think too, who don't understand, not understand. They all understand the character, but they don't know what to do with her.
Yeah.
And a lot of people do that. I mean, even in the video games and the movies, it's like a model or a reporter.
Yeah.
Pretty much. It's like the only thing they have to do with Mary Jane. And as we read the issue, we'll kind of get into it.
And it looks like there is something fishy going on, like the way her mannerisms that she's making, and she hasn't been corrupted by Moira Target, whatever her name is, and the X-Men.
We'll talk. Mike's read the X-Men issue. I haven't. I'll be honest with you, folks. Aside from a couple of issues like Power Rangers and Ninja Turtles, the only books I'm really reading is this comic, Amazing Spider-Man, and the main Batman.
Oh, I only got that X-Men book for that 5 pages of Spider-Man. Other than that, I don't fucking care about it.
But anyway, let's get right into it right now. Issue 901, Zeb Wells, John Romita Jr. We have some great art by John Romita Jr. right here.
Yeah, He's on top of his game with this, and which I love.
Oh yeah, he's definitely rejuvenated. Although I did see a picture of John Romita Jr. on Instagram. Notice he has several diamond-studded earrings in his earlobe, which I thought was...
Hey, he's a stud. He works out. He's...
Maybe that's the thing. Maybe he's because he's a stud, and this will be a joke. But I mean,
he's a hunk.
To me, it's very off-putting seeing an old man with a bunch of stuff. But anyway, that's what happens when you get all these tattoos and piercings. Folks.
Midlife crisis, probably.
I believe so. But anyway, back to the issue. We have Adrian Toombs talking to, who's that? His granddaughter?
His granddaughter. So I remember her being in Amazing Spider-Man at one point.
I do. I can't
remember when. Yeah,
exactly. To be honest, I can't remember the last time the Vulture was even in the book. Maybe during Spencer's run. I think maybe during Spencer's run at some point during one of those during Craven's storyline.
Probably.
They had
he was in the Craven storyline.
Yeah. So I mean, when he started talking about like his granddaughter, I kind of vaguely remember this stuff. I do remember Toombs having a great affinity and a love for his granddaughter. And this one basically she finds out like we have kind of a talk like kind of reminiscent of the first issue of Zeb Wells' run where she's I've always defended you. I'm never going to rat you out, but I know you've murdered a lot of people, and so I know you're not a good guy. So
So someone told her this.
Yeah.
The Vulture thinks it was Spider-Man, so now the Vulture wants to go out on revenge for...
Yeah, because she doesn't want the shot, and he's like, wait a minute, who told you? And he's like, after I saved your life, referring to the last issue where him and the rest of the Sinister Six...
He goes, well, kind of. See, now classic Amazing Spider-Man 900.
Which I saw people giving shit about Marvel having the gall to call 900 a classic. I'll call it a classic. I love that issue.
Yeah.
I thought that was one of the best Spider-Man issues I've read in years.
Yeah, it was a standalone issue. It didn't didn't really tie into anything else, really, what was going on. It was great. You could pick that book up and not even know this was going on.
If someone were to say, like one of my friends, like who had kids or something, or someone just wanted to get into Spider-Man in general, said, where should I start? I'd say pick up issue 900. It's a great. I mean, all you need to know about Spider-Man is in that.
Yeah, and everything that you love about Spider-Man was in that book. It's
very accessible. The writing, the art. I honestly didn't read the backup issues, especially the Jimmy Kimmel one. But so when Toombs,
I'll recap for you.
When Toombs made mention of like someone ratting his granddaughter, I'm sorry, made mention of someone ratting him out, I was like, did I miss something? Should I have read those backup issues? So I actually went back and read everyone except for the Jimmy Kimmel one, which I didn't care if it had the answer to this, and then I wasn't going to read it.
That's where the answer is.
Well, I can find out then. I'll have to watch the YouTube
Wait, do you still like Spider-Man on the New Avengers?
No, I don't.
Here's what happened.
So anyway, Toombs is pissed off. He's like, Spider-Man ratted me out. I'm going after him. We then cut to Peter Parker going to one of the new Osborn buildings right now being put up in New York. Apparently he had a meeting with Osborn, and Osborn wants to work on some stuff, and they walk in and meet up with one of the new interns, Kamala Khan, which I'm not really sure what the new status quo of Kamala Khan is. I know she's in high school. I read the first series when it came out with G. Willow Wilson. I watched the series.
I read Champions too.
I loved Champions. I thought Champions was terrific. It was a very good Marvel's answer to Legion of Superheroes, I think. But I know she's in high school. I'm not sure why she's an intern at Osborn. I did remember seeing some image of Peter and Spider-Man Peter and Kamala Khan together. So I don't know if there's some miniseries or one shot or issue.
Well, she is teaming up with a lot of different superheroes. She teamed up with Moon Girl. She did team up with Miles Morales. No, it was Moon Girl, Miles Morales. But she is having these one shots, one with Venom, the X-Men, Wolverine. So it must be. So
I don't know if she's interning because she's genuinely just interning, or she knows that Norman Osborn used to be the Green Goblin, and she's trying to get to the bottom of this. Yeah. When she drops like this little solution thing, which I thought was like I don't know, soda or something like that, until I looked at the inside.
Yeah, it's like some type of
super root beer, Oscorp root beer. That'd be pretty cool.
Well, Norman Osborn's starting a new company like an aerospace, so basically he's doing electric plasma jet engines type of thing. So.
Yeah. Which, I mean, he makes mention of it too. I specialize in aerospace technology. So I figured that's a good place to start. And so we see Kamala Khan. She drops some stuff. It reminds me very much of Andrew Garfield, Amazing Spider-Man, where he's at the Oscorp building and he starts, purposely doing all the things. We don't see Kamala Khan scratch and catch any of her Oscorp root beer. But, so there's that.
Well, I had flashbacks of Maddie Franklin during this. Let's hope they're not having a homeless Peter make out with. As convinced, Marvel's so convinced that Peter is the young, relatable guy. It wouldn't surprise me to be like, wow, why can't he make out with a high school kid? He's a high school kid. No, he's probably closer to 30 than he is. Yeah, we're already trying to make Peter Parker's life a dumpster fire.
So anyway, the elevator opens. Oh, look who it is! Mary Jane Watson. Not Watson Parker, Mary Jane Watson. She makes mention that she came to, I guess, there was some isotopes given for her Aunt Anna who had...
dementia, and that's what gets her into the gala from what the X-Men are doing now currently.
Which, that's the thing we can kind of stop right now. I haven't been reading X-Men. To be honest, I kind of fell off after around House, was it X of Swords or whatever it was?
I fell off way before that.
So I don't know what Mary Jane's prerequisites are for being an ambassador for, like, the Kuroka. Because I mean, like, he was like a model, and then like on like a soap opera.
Yeah.
So that like it's like, yeah, you're the perfect person to, like, go into this like mutant, like, be
I felt that was why I think it's because they're using something to do with the X-Men is using something in her formula that's curing dementia, I think.
Oh, I do know that.
Like that.
I do know that Xavier and the mutants have all these cures for all the diseases like that. So like that's kind of like their thing. Like, leave us alone, and we'll give you these medicines.
I think that's what it is. It's something to do with that.
But I don't know why Mary Jane, like, out of everybody in the world.
Yeah.
So if anybody has any, like, if anybody wants to school me and what's going on with that, write in the comments right there. I know a couple.
And please do, because I can say I appreciate all you guys commenting on our videos. We'll hope to get more up than this bi-weekly for now, but we appreciate you guys commenting, and it helps us get see more.
Yeah, let me know, because honestly, I don't know how many comics Mike's reading, but I'm not reading that many comics nowadays.
I'm not reading anything X-Men except for that one issue.
So he's helped me put the pieces together as far as, you know what I mean? So I don't find it so jarring when Mary Jane's like an ambassador and getting her being worn as a Muppet. So the gala. So anyway, Peter has a little interaction with Mary Jane. They seem to be a little more civil than they were.
But something seems off, like... I don't know. This seems like there's something off here.
Well, again, we don't know what's happened in that 6-month gap. Which, and then also, fucking Paul shows up.
Yep.
In his big goofy glasses. He's just, I don't know. He looks like who's the guy who does the Big Mouth show? I can't think of his name.
That fucking filthy. Sorry for my language. I know I'm trying to be kid friendly. That show is filthy.
But the creator, but I can't think of his name. He's in a bunch of stuff. He's in the League. Everything else, but anyway, he looks like him. John Romita draws him that way. We see him shaking hands, saying, "Oh, it looks like you're a little better than you have been." And then it shows a little flashback of a previous interaction where Paul seems to be decking Peter. Peter seems either like be taking, because he has some drool coming off his mouth, so it looks like Peter's either like drunk, inebriated, was in kind of a bad state, or Paul landed one on Peter, which would be pretty weird considering Peter has spider sense in him. But maybe Paul's some kind of enhanced human. We don't know.
Maybe. Well, we all know that Parker can't hold his alcohol in previous issues.
That's true, yeah. So anyway, so Peter, he's we'll get to, and Paul kind of like politely says, we should get together for dinner sometime. And Peter's like, yeah, we should get dinner for some time. And then Peter kind of like thinks about like,
but the thing that's why it seems like Mary Jane wanted to say something.
Yeah.
Before then, Paul showed up. She's like, "Oh, I'll tell you the truth," and go, "There you are," and then. So this may not be all what it seems what's going on here. I feel like there's something we won't know until we find out, basically. But she looks, and there's one panel where she looks back where he's like, "Oh, it's incredible. I'll call Terry and see if you can stay. We're going to celebrate." You see her looking back, making like some type of grin. Like, she's probably so obviously in love with him.
Yeah.
Or there's still feelings there. That's never going to go away. But it's like, something's going on.
He makes mention of the kids and this and that and everything else. I'm honestly just a second. I kind of came with a little bit of a really reaching theory, but I'll get with it in a second. So Peter kind of thinks about like, what a coincidence you walked into Mary Jane. He's like, it was a coincidence, wasn't it? And he realized that Norman Osborn is playing matchmaker with them. So he storms in on Norman this time. How's it feel to be the Stormy Norman?
Stormy Norman.
Yeah, so he's like, don't be messing with my love. I can't believe I have to be telling you this, but don't be getting involved in my romantic life. Because, like, Norman did kill Gwen Stacy, so there's no reason he should.
So that's the other thing, too, that's really off here. Regardless of what Mary Jane wanted, they could test it out. Even I don't see Mary Jane going to Norman Osborn to say, hey, can you test these out even though you killed my best friend?
Although I'm so like the rational part of my brain says Peter should never be cordial with Norman, no matter what the Sin Eater thing did to him, which he makes mention of. But I gotta tell you, I really like this dynamic.
See, I wanted to say that too. So yeah, we're thinking Peter shouldn't be here, but I kind of like what they're doing with Norman Osborn. They're bringing back. Almost kind of like the Spectacular Spider-Man cartoon, not the comic book.
Yep.
And Also,
with Jameson, when they switch the dynamic with them. Also, it reminds me a lot of the early, Stan Lee days, where Peter was kind of like the protege of Norman Osborn a little bit, or like he looked up to Norman Osborn, so they had like an interaction when because Norman had no idea he was the Green Goblin supposedly. It reminds me of the Jameson thing too. It's weird because we've had Peter and Norman at each other for so many years. It's been this very like Superman Lex Luthor type, It was kind of nice to see a different like relationship. I like seeing Norman, and I don't know. There's something about it. I know it's wrong, but it feels so right.
We have a good Green Goblin versus Spider-Man fight.
Well, speaking of which, I really with John Romita drawing, I love the little callback where he does a little switch in his hand and clack. The Goblin spider suit comes out from behind the picture, same way it would do it in the old comics with when John Romita Jr. was drawing the Hobgoblin saga, which he'll be showing up pretty soon. Not in this issue, but
this also goes back to he says, "I don't need your help anymore." I was desperate when I came for help, so this is probably so because they mentioned this. Norman Osborn when he dropped off the kids, his grandkids for Peter to babysit. You weren't like that when you came for my help last time. Blah blah blah. So. Within that 6 months before he blows up, Pennsylvania or whatever it is.
More mystery box clues, more shaking from that box, like, what's in there?
Yeah. So then he goes, I don't need you anymore. So then Norman Osborn goes, I never said you did.
Yep. And he also says that him and Peter have been working on this project together. So this isn't like a surprise to Peter. Like we see it, and we've seen also from previews there's like a goblin like Spider-Man suit, which I mean like. Considering who's coming after Peter, he may be needing it.
That's why I think someone's going to save him.
Yeah. So we got the Vulture out skulking. Beautiful silhouette. Well, you can see a little bit of texture in there, but like a silhouette from John Romita Jr. Nice pacing again, where Toombs pulls out binoculars and he sees the old web head swinging around. God damn, I love John Romita Jr. Spider-Man. So we see him swinging around. He's kind of stewing about like Norman Osborn, thinking like, I don't care what the Sin Eater did to him or supposedly did to him. Like, I'm not buying it.
I love when he does the against the window.
Yep, I love Reflection. Adam Kubert did a great issue of Superman where he did that too. That's so Peter's spider sense goes off, which I love right here. We do a quick panel where Peter has the. I'll show it to you guys. Why not? See if you can see that right there, where it turns negative space, where it's red and white. The spider sense go off.
Beautiful splash page.
Oh yeah, I mean, Toombs, an old buck. He probably shouldn't be throwing his shoulder in like that, especially since he needs like his arms to wave those wings around. But anyway, he shoulder shocks Spider-Man. You hear a crunch. Spider-Man goes flying. Oh, so he turned this whole thing. So no, I didn't know what I was reading that. So yeah, he turned this whole thing around. He brings Spider-Man way, way, way up. So far up there, the air is getting thin, Peter says in his brain. Which, by the way, in this Zeb Wells run, loving the inner monologue of Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I wish we had those thought bubbles. Maybe one day they'll come back. I don't know. But I'm loving how we're hearing Peter's monologue. So he's just knocking Spider-Man around. Spider-Man can't get his bearings because,
Zeb Wells does like Spider-Man getting his ass handed to him a lot.
We'll talk about that real quick. Vulture does something which I love that people do with Spider-Man. Green Goblin did it in the Spider-Man animated series, where he knows Spider-Man. He takes out his web shooters, has these little Wolverine claw things, and just breaks both of his web shooters and drops them. Peter's and so it says too high.
How high am I?
Yeah, he's
too high.
And it looks like he's pretty high, yeah. And so it says, in 2 weeks, Spider-Man's funeral, which we know it's not going to be Spider-Man's funeral, but great cliffhanger.
Yeah. I kind of have a vague idea that I think Norman Osborn's probably going to save him.
Oh, absolutely.
Or something, maybe in the new Spider armor.
I've seen preview art of, and I feel, it feels so stupid saying this. There's going to be a white goblin.
So it's obviously going to be Norman Osborn, that's it. But they're bringing back the Hobgoblin.
Yep.
I like how Zeb Wells is bringing back a lot of the classic villains that we haven't really seen in a long time.
Yep.
I like seeing the web slinging across the city, which I don't think we've seen in a long time that much.
Yep. I can't wait to see John Romita draw the Hobgoblin again. He hasn't drawn proper Hobgoblin since the Roger Stern run.
Yeah, because after that he only drew Demi-Goblin.
Well, no, he did draw Hobgoblin, but it was the Jason Macendale, Cyborg, Eye, Black. So I mean, I have some nostalgia for that. I mean, it was a really shitty design for Hobgoblin, and but I have a little
during the Clone Saga.
The Clone Saga.
Post-Clone Saga.
I actually have a trading card, a Fleer trading card of that version of Hobgoblin, which I sold from Toys R Us. Probably why they're out of business now. They sold all the Marvel cards.
No, it was a fucking high price.
Yeah. Although me and Mike think that Norman Osborn's going to come in and bail Peter out.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't it be awesome if all of a sudden the Hobgoblin to show up instead? And it's like, no, he's mine to kill, blah, blah, blah. Or
that would be pretty cool, too. I wouldn't mind seeing that.
Yeah. I don't know what the relationship is to Hobgoblin. I know Kingsley right now is he's kind of like a mercenary, kind of like he farms out superhero technology.
Yeah.
I think so. That's the last time I recall. Something might have happened since then. But it would be really cool if, maybe he was working for Osborn, maybe.
Yeah.
Which would add more, Peter's like, why am I fucking friendly with this guy when he has, the Hobgoblin working for him? It's probably not, it's probably to be Norman. But yeah, that's the issue right there. Next issue, we see Spider-Man, or maybe it's Norman, who has this, you guys probably all seen the preview art with the Spider-Man glider. We got some Spider-Man, they were called eggs, I think, in the description of it. When I first saw that, I told Mike too, I'm like, this book has to be a troll. Between the Mary Jane thing and I'm like, this is so stupid. And we've talked about this during our Zeb Wells review. But I'm kind of excited about it.
I don't like what they're doing with Peter. I hate that Mary Jane and Peter Parker aren't married. But putting that aside, I am starting to think it's run. I'm actually getting excited about it again.
Yeah.
Except when they do that scene with Mary Jane and Peter Parker, I'm like, ugh.
You got to get over that.
I know. It's never coming back.
Yeah. The only couple that's going to stay together is going to be Sue Storm and Reed Richards. And probably Superman. Then again, they got rid of the marriage before. Yeah. But I want an action figure of that Spider-Goblin thing.
I know, I'll get it. I'll put it right on my wall over here.
Absolutely. I mean, it looks cool. I hope it has little glow-in-the-dark things. I mean, I don't know. I got to tell you right now, a lot of people think I like being right when it comes to, when I shit on things. And before the video, I was talking to Mike about the new Rise of the TMNT video. Years back, we did a video, Totally Turtles playlist. You guys can check out. We talk about Rise of the TMNT. And I just completely dismissed it. I'm like, this show's stupid.
I did too.
And I was completely I watched it with my sons over the weekend. Completely blown away by that movie. I love that version. I hope the show comes back. I loved it so much. I thought it was probably my second best favorite Turtles movie of all time. And again, I thought the Zeb Wells run was going to be shitty. I love being proven wrong. I'm enjoying this book probably more than I have since J.M. DeMatteis and Luke Ross won Spectacular Spider-Man. I've never enjoyed a Spider-Man book as much as I am right now. And it's not that because it's versus other writers. I did like half of Spencer's run. Yeah. I didn't like the Kindred stuff at all.
That was just so drawn out that we mentioned that in our previous podcast, but in our Spencer run podcast.
Because most of it was
too drawn out.
I like Nick Spencer's Spider-Man. I love the Kindred stuff was clearly half it was done by him and half it was written by Matthew Rosenberg because Spencer was at Substack. I don't like Dan Slott because Dan Slott just thinks he's the greatest Spider. He all of his notebooks of fan fiction, and I'm just gonna put that on here and I'm the greatest Spider-Man.
Well, he's not the greatest, but he did have some good runs. And I mentioned in the previous podcast, I did like how he was able to make Spider-Man successful and Peter Parker successful.
Big Time was good. I agree. Big Time was decent. I liked it a lot. Straczynski is just a good writer who's you want to write Spider-Man? He's like, okay.
He does a phenomenal job.
But he does a good job whatever he wants.
Exactly.
Not
in Batman. He did my boy Tim Drake dirty.
But Zeb Wells, though, is the guy who has wanted to be the Spider-Man writer for a long time now. For years, he's been trying to get in the Spider-Man office, since Brand New Day, since before that, Avenging Spider-Man. He's been trying to get in there, and they're like, no, we got other guys we're going to do. And he's a Spider-Man guy. And I got to tell you right now, he's the guy for the job. I'm telling you. I mean,
he's doing what he can with the Peter Parker, Mary Jane thing, because that's what they're telling him to do. But that stuff aside, I actually do enjoy...
To be honest, I don't care about the Mary Jane stuff anymore.
I still do, right in here.
Well, we all do. We all grew up on that. Well, we grew up on it anyway.
Well, they've been married just as long as they've been separated.
Yeah.
In the comic book, so.
Well, one thing I will say about that, Joe Quesada has resigned from Marvel. He doesn't work for Marvel. But he said he has one more project in him for Marvel that's going to be amazing. And he used the words amazing, and he put it all in caps like that. So I wonder if it's going to be I broke up Peter and Mary Jane. I'm going to put them back together before I take.
Or it could be Amazing Fantasy
It can be something like that
16
too.
or whatever one that's coming out, 1,000 or something that's coming out.
That's me grasping. Well, it's not 1,000, by the way. It's issues like maybe 18. But that's me really grasping at straws. It would be cool, but I don't see it happening at all. But this, I mean, I love that. Well,
I noticed that he has a goblin cuffling on his thing there.
Wells is great. Ramita Jr. is great. I wish him and Ed McGuinness would switch back and forth. I wish they would do like these really cool, like down to earth, like street level stories, Ramita, and then the big superhero stories. Yeah. Where the villains would go to McGuinness. I think it'd be really great.
I would love to see McGuinness on Spider-Man.
He's an awesome artist. I've loved him since Majestic and Superman and Deadpool. He was actually the first autograph I ever got as far as the sketch goes.
Nice.
McGuinness. So yeah, I mean, as far as my review, I was very entertained. Like Cracker Barrel, comfort, hash brown casserole from Cracker Barrel, just like comfort food. Loved it. Love this book. To be honest with you, I can't wait for the next issue.
I can't believe I'm saying the same thing. Aside from how I feel about certain things about the book, I'm actually excited about. At first, I wasn't. I'm like, I think if we ever release our extra Amazing Spider-Man #1, I literally threw the book on the ground. Like, I don't care about this book.
could be proven wrong, right?
Yeah, and I can admit when I'm proven wrong, and I will admit that right now. I was proven wrong.
To me, this is pretty. Without going back in time and being a teenager and relating to a teenage Spider-Man or early college Spider-Man, this is perfect for me. Perfect Spider-Man. To Mike, I know could be good, but could be better.
So I just see that when I was relating to Spider-Man growing up, it was the teenage Spider-Man down on his luck, and I become more successful in life. I'm not like, millionaire. I got a better job. I'm married now. And even when I wasn't married, I still liked that Peter was married.
Yeah.
And to see them go back to the, what they're doing with Peter Parker now, I don't like that. I like seeing him successful. I'm successful now in life, kind of.
Yeah.
And it would be nice to see him leave like that. But there's also a bunch of other new fans that like Peter Parker that way, and I just go like, well, that was me.
The struggle must continue with Spider-Man, I think, and that's the thing, I think. So yeah, do you have anything else to add about? Oh, but real quick, Mike was talking about the Paul and Mary Jane thing. He kind of Peter very first mentioned how the kids, like the kids love you, the kids are great, something like that. Maybe Paul was, and before I mentioned my theory of maybe the kids being, what was Mary Jane's cousin's name again? You remember?
No.
Anyway,
you mentioned how they used to live in Pittsburgh or wherever it is. Pennsylvania got blown up.
So maybe those kids are Mary Jane's cousins, and this guy Paul was her cousin's husband, like a widower or something like that. So that's the father of the kids, like that, or I don't know. I mean, that's just something I thought of really quick.
Something seems off, no matter what.
We'll find out though, eventually, and when we find out, we'll be here to tell you guys.
That's right.
Please remember to like and subscribe, and we're gonna see you next time.
Yep.
Same spider time, same spider goblin time.
And I'll probably have this shirt on again.
He keeps it in a glass case and brings it out when we have to record.
I do want to frame a Scarlet Spider hoodie, but I like wearing it.
You have to get another one.
That's true, I should.
And then when you'll be like Jameson saying like he was a hero, and then all of a sudden you'll turn around and it'll be gone.
And I'll put it behind me unevenly like the rest of my pictures. Listen, I eyeball these things like our dad said. Good enough.
Anyway, guys, we'll see you next time. Thanks for joining us.
See you guys later.
Bye-bye.